Chico's gonna give you what? Rev is gonna give you what? Ben is gonna give you what? All three are gonna give you the Big D. Chico's gonna give you what? Rev is gonna give you what? Ben is gonna give you what? All three are gonna give you the Big D. Chico, Rev, and Ben, yep, they're at it again. Breaking down the team, putting stats up in your head. Nothing left unsaid, they're leaving it all on the field. Just like the favorite team, raising two cups and will shield. The knowledge isn't real for a trio so true to representing the great red, white, and blue. And you love them too, that you can't deny. So just one time, let me hear Dallas till I die. Chico's gonna give you what? Rev is gonna give you what? Ben is gonna give you what? All three are gonna give you the Big D. Chico's gonna give you what? Rev is gonna give you what? Ben is gonna give you what? All three are gonna give you the Big D. Soccer podcast?
Welcome to Big D After Dark. I'm your host, Nathan Hill, and we have a great show for you this evening. Thanks for joining us. 3 points, that's the lead off headline we'll discuss tonight as FC Dallas notches their first victory of 2021, a 4-1 beatdown of the lowly Portland Timbers. It was a goal-scoring bonanza for FC Dallas behind goals from Ricarte, Obrian, Bresson, and Dante Seeley. A lot to discuss tonight as we look ahead to a huge rivalry match against Houston. Let's get to it. We're live. We are live. Welcome everyone. I'm gonna lower my volume a little bit here, trying to adjust our volume as we go. We already got 5 viewers. Thank you all for joining us this evening to our live video podcast, which is also now available on audio in a lot of places, also on Anchor FM. You can find it there. So if you're listening a little bit later, we're glad that you're checking us out. Please know that as we do this live, you can post your comments in the live stream chat. We will see it and we will include your question, and it'll change the flow of our conversation. So if there's something on your mind after last Saturday's big home win against Portland Timbers for FC Dallas, we'd love to hear it. We'd love to have you shape the conversation and talk about the things you like to talk about. Here with me, of course, I'm Nathan Hill. I'm the host. You can follow me at Nathan J. Hill. There in the middle tonight, his video feed is not working, so we've superimposed a picture of. This is a view of what Ryan Hollingshead was probably looking at when he was faking the ball throw in his direction of Portland Timbers head coach and now loser to FC Dallas. Again, Gio Savarese. Right there in the middle is Ben Lyons at Bird Turgler. Say hello, Ben.
Hello, Ben.
Okay. And there in the end is our good buddy Jose Carmona at El Chico Carmona. Say hey, Jose.
Bienvenidos.
All right. Excellent. We're glad y'all are here. Please let us know you're here in the comments section. Just say something. And again, pepper us with your comments, your reactions to the big win at home for FC Dallas. And so let's get right to it. 4 big goals. We finally saw the offense come alive. Sure, you could argue Portland was playing a lesser squad in this one because of the CCL matches they're involved with. But you could also tell something was at stake for Portland the way they came out in the second half and brought Valeri and other starters out and had a bit of energy at first. But FC Dallas really controlled this one. Maybe a few moments where they struggled a bit. But FC Dallas looked great. The attack, some of these goals were just delicious. So, Ben, starting with you, and then Jose, give us some of your highlights from this match. What really stood out to you that you love to see from FC Dallas?
Oh, well, I mean, like, if you're asking me, I loved Freddie Vargas taking corner kicks and Ricarte, and I like Brian Acosta not doing that. Um, he needs to spend all of his energy on putting his shots on target. Uh, but I mean, like, even he had a good game. Everybody had, like, a really, really good game. It was a good bounce back game. Uh, Portland was a little bit weaker, but actually, it's kind of overblown. Like, I mean, like, those are all rotational players, except for the goalkeeper. And I mean, 4-1 against the conference rival. I mean, you can't beat that.
Jose?
Um, I think you have to take into consideration the level of opposition before we get too excited. So, for me, my big takeaway was the play of certain players that I was happy to see perform really well. I'll name 5 right off the bat. 3 that had really great games that any one of these 3 could have been man of the match. And Brazan, who continues to play great ball to start the season. O'Brien, who finally, added something to just looking dangerous out there. And Ricarte, who, now that he played much higher, played much better. And, of course, Hollingshead back at left back where he should always play. And, of course, Felipe looks solid back there, even if he was unthreatened for most of the night.
Good stuff. It has to feel good for O'Brien to get his first MLS goal to kind of get over that hump, and and Hara getting an assist as a sub was good. Maybe that gets him going with a little bit of positive energy. But yeah, the Ricarte goal was something special. It was just great build up, great interchange. You saw the creativity. You saw like what I think Coach Lucci has wanted to do and thinks is possible with this team was getting that kind of out of the back interchange of play. And we'll get to a little clip of that maybe a little bit later and take a look at that play. But yeah, a lot here to like. And of course, the kid, Dante Sealy, coming on and just taking advantage of his opportunity. Just so exciting to see because he's one of those young guys that we know has a load of talent, of possibility. Ben, you've been following Dante for a while, right? You know about this kid, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Long time academy prodigy. Kind of, like now that he's 18, I kind of surprised like he didn't end up staying in Munich with Che, to be quite honest. So seeing him go out and play and provide that kind of dynamic ability as an attacker at a young age is exciting to see. It'll be interesting to see if he sticks around all year or if he makes a move in the summer. I know you're thinking like, okay, well, he just had like that one goal. Well, I mean, like he's been tracked for a while, so
yeah.
If he keeps scoring, he'll probably be gone this summer.
Exciting stuff to see, and I know congratulations to him on his first senior goal, at least in Major League Soccer. And also we say, hey, Marcus Robinson, thanks for watching. What's up with you? How are you doing? What's your reaction to the game, to the win for FC Dallas? Really feels like the team the season has started now. This team is going now. The floodgates have opened. We hope for more scoring, but it wasn't perfect, and there's always things for this team to work on. It's still early season, so let's go there. So Jose, we'll start with you, and then Ben, what's something that this team still needs to work on going forward that you still want to see some improvement on?
Well, I think they still gotta get that right back situation squared away. I mean, I'm happy to see when Joba get time there, but I don't think Eddie was involved much at all in the attack, which is usually something that you see from both the left back and the right back in Lucci's system. He likes to attack with, send both of his left back and right back forward. But you saw Eddie being kept back. Really, I don't believe he was involved in the attack much at all. I don't think he had any offensive, any passes or anything like that stood out. So that's one thing. It's just the attack. It's just honestly, for me, it's just getting everybody on the same page. You see flashes of the potential that this team has, and honestly, I think cohesion is the big thing. And the other thing is Lucci needs to stop overthinking some of these lineups. And you saw Ricarte forward a lot more in this game, and it makes a huge difference. I mean, Vargas and O'Brien are dangerous, or can be dangerous, but they're much easier to mark when Ricarte and Costa are being asked to go all the way back and get the ball. It takes them out of the attack, and they got to work their way into the attack. But if you keep them up high, now they're the Dallas has more options in the attack going forward, and that's, I liked seeing that. I think Ricarte had his best game of the season. And of course, it's the one game where he was actually allowed to stay forward and dictate, the attack.
Ben, what are some things the team needs to work on?
Well, with Manjoma, that was his first MLS start. So I have to imagine, just knowing his attacking profile, he'll definitely be more prevalent in future games as long as he holds on to that spot. The deep lying mid in that formation, the six, if you will, there's still questions to be answered there. And I know, like, maybe some people are getting like some Thiago Santos seller's remorse, but I don't know that with time FC Dallas is not going to be better off with what they have on hand. Tanner was playing there, and he didn't look that great, but he's still fairly new as a professional, and that was a new position for him. And I think, again, you grade him on the curve. That's like his first MLS start there, and you can expect him to probably play better in that position. And then he's going to have Cerrillo pressuring him, and if all else fails, you can stick Acosta back there. So all of these things that I think that need improvement as the season goes along. There's plenty of time, and I think there's plenty of bodies to make it happen. It's really hard to be upset about anything in that last game. Primarily because Franco Haro actually did something. So really hard to be a downer about anything.
I'd like to say something about that, about Hara finally doing something, and it's the fact that he finally got a pass where he wanted it. Having somebody like Tommy Call that can make that pass that opens up the defense. That's what Hara has been lacking. You could say that a guy like him, who relies on timing as opposed to speed, needs those passes to come at the right time, in the right place. And all of a sudden, lo and behold, there's Hara breaking away from the defense as low as he is and keeping Sealy on side even. So yeah, I mean, that's what excites.
A tired defense that he's counterattacking against,
and a young defense.
I'm just saying, but it's not like no one's ever going to accuse him of being fast, and I don't care how tired they are. That was still hard breaking away from a defense, something none of us expected to. And I'm just saying that had nothing to do with him being fast. It has everything to do with how accurate that pass was and where it landed, to the point where he was able to get that not one, but two steps on defense. And all he had to do was leg it out, and I could get used to seeing that. If he can get that kind of service that flashes you what Hara has as a potential. He's not a guy who's going to beat teams with speed and quickness, but if he gets the passes in the right places, it shows you that he can be dangerous.
And that the game flow is in the appropriate spot too. I really want to harp on that
Yes.
because, you know, I don't think that play happens in minute 10 of the game, even with Portland down a goal. You know,
No, and that's fine, and I'm okay with that. I'm just saying service, 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 and then with Ricarte in there, being kept up higher, and
Absolutely.
if you're gonna have Ricarte, and if you're gonna be bringing Paxton in late all season and just make him a super sub, then those players are gonna be there late on tired defenses. I mean, maybe next time it'll be Pepe making that run instead of Hara and getting that assist. Like I said, it's great to see. It's what the attackers, you know, have been lacking. The strikers for this team need more balls being fed to them in the right spots to take advantage of their skills.
It's good stuff. You know, it's the thing. We'll talk about. We'll hear from Coach Lucci here in a few minutes. But yes, like the problem with the 3-4-3 setup is that you have two midfielders and you're asking a heck of a lot from them to know when to get forward, when to cover, when to fall back, when to hedge their bets, kind of a thing. And it's fine. And there are midfielders out there in the professional game that can do that, can know that instinctively when to get forward and when to pressure and when to be back in more of a covering type position to help the defense. But you throw in a young guy like Tanner Tessman who's still learning the game. Well, I don't want to say learning the game, but he's young. He's not a veteran. He doesn't have oodles of experience, so he's going to be more hesitant. He's going to struggle at times. So you bring out a three midfielder setup, and everybody in the midfield then gets a more defined role. You have one guy who's going to hang back a little bit more and provide the cover. You have a Ricarte whose job it is to either shuttle the ball forward, to get the ball forward, and to get into an attacking position. You know, so that's what's good about the 4-3-3 is that especially helps the younger guys. So you even bring in a Cerrillo later in the game, and his job is just provide cover, stop attacks, get in the way of Portland, slow them down. And that's a much easier assignment for a young player than to say, you need to make a decision here, when to get back, when to get forward. You know, and work with your teammates in that process. It's interesting. Well, let's shift to this question we got from Dave. Thanks, Dave, for watching. Reminder, folks, post your questions. Dave says, now we have seen Pepe get a start. What are your thoughts about what Pepe provides and what he needs to add, or how we get the number 9 involved more? So hold on now. Before we get to that, Dave, I'm going to leave your question up. I'm going to jump over here to my iPhone screen. And this is a little thing from Watkey_. I guess that's Chris Russell. Listen to this little and highlight how Pepe was involved without being involved, right?
Unfortunately, it makes for very boring videos, but a lot of times good off-ball movement is just about getting and then staying out of the way. Here's Ricardo Pepe. He's about to get out of the way. We can watch him do that. And then here he is again. He's just going to stay out of the way. And unfortunately, it makes for very boring videos.
All right. That's that. All right, let's go. But that's the opening goal from Ricarte. Just a great build-up, a great interchange. But the point is for him, and this is something that we soccer fans sometimes, even in our understanding of space and the importance of space, don't always pay attention to. It's just how important it is sometimes for players just to hang back, drawing a defender away, making a defender have to choose, do I step up to this oncoming player, do I watch my back here where we have a number 9, trying to get in or potentially being a threat or for a late run. Just those little things make life difficult. So guys, what did you see from Pepe in this game? Jose, let's start with you, and Ben, you jump in.
Well, that video shows you exactly issues with Hara as the main guy, is that he has a tendency to cross, get in the same lane as the other attackers. You're not getting those players that are, getting out of each other's way. They're all getting each other's way. And that play highlights where a player who knows what Lucci wants is making the right decision and doesn't have to be making that run directly into the box every time. Sometimes it's, like you said, about pulling the defender away and allowing somebody else to make that run. I think that's where we're seeing. We've all been frustrated with Hara, is that we're not seeing that a lot from him when that happens. And I'm not just saying it's just his fault. I'm just saying, and for whatever reason, the attackers are not all on the same page, and saw them all on the same page at times in this match. And yes, if Pepe continues to do that, do the little things, I think it becomes harder and harder to keep Hara on there. But at the same time, Hara is still going to start. I think it's key that Lucci said this was a rotation, which he had to tell Hara, and hey, we're gonna rest you this game. We're playing a weakened Portland, so let the kid play. We don't want you playing against some lesser opposition and getting hurt. So I think it was easier for him to sell for this game, and I think you'll see where Lucci's going to start, basically finding ways to get Pepe starts by when the right opportunities come, where he can convince Hara that it's in his best interest to rest and come off the bench, which won't be often, at least not in the first half of the season.
So one thing that Lucci likes to do whenever he wins a game is start the same lineup the next game. I wish I had my webcam tonight so you could see me rubbing my hands together like Mr. Burns, because I hope they go on a 30-game win streak, and we just see Pepe start for the rest of the season, with cameos from Jesus Ferreira and possibly Franco Jara. I was talking about this a few games ago. And in the chat, even before the season, the hardest thing Lucci was going to have to do this year was manage a diminished star player. Franco Jara was a star player, a good player, and he is the highest paid player on the team. But is he the best player on the team? No. Is he the 10th best player on the team? No. But Lucci, a young coach, still has to deal with that fact that he's got that reputation and he's got that paycheck, which probably is somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 to 4 to maybe even 6 times what Lucci's making. So that's hard, But, if they keep winning, then it's easy.
And, for a team with this makeup, Jara is not a bad piece to have, a veteran player who hopefully we're going to see down the stretch score some big goals. Even if he comes off the bench sometimes to do that, brings that savvy, that veteran, that ability to close out a game, or to do like we saw on Saturday, which was to create something, to be a part of creating something with a savvy, unselfish play. But keep in mind, we can go back a little bit earlier in that game from that assist, and he chose to pass when he probably should have taken a shot. He had a pretty decent position. Maybe it would have still missed, been a hard shot. But he had an angle, and he chose to unselfishly pass. So, maybe he is, he's figuring out his role in this team. And so I don't mind having that veteran kind of presence. But right now, with his contract, what it says is that he should be a starter. So it is a difficult dynamic for Lucci to deal with. So right now, this early in the season, I think he could sell it, that he's getting Pepe fit. Pepe was energetic, was active. He had a good role to play. So, Dave, thank you for the question. I think we're going to see this Sunday. I bet Jara starts again. If Pepe has scored, it would be really hard to make a case.
I agree.
Pepe didn't score. Pepe was active, did some good things. But you could probably make a case that Jara got an assist, probably deserves a start. But hopefully Jara's on a shorter leash going forward. So about that 60-minute mark, if Jara is struggling, you bring in Pepe, you get that energy. But there's a lot of question marks about the roster.
If you're listening, please do not start at Franco Jara.
Can I add something? And I'll tell you where Ben is wrong on that is you want him to start Jara, and you want to cheer for Jara to go on a kind of run, because if you're seriously honestly believing that Pepe should be the starter going forward, then Jara can't be on the bench. He has to get moved. And the only way he gets moved is to have a good run of form before the summer window so that then he has value. If you bench him, then he has zero value and he's not going anywhere, and he's going to, he's not going to be happy. And you don't want.
No. It's sunk costs at this
Wow.
point. I totally disagree.
I know you disagree, but at the same time, the other thing is you want to also protect Pepe from doing too well that suddenly you get somebody with an insane offer in the summer and the hunt to sell him. So it's a double-edged sword. I think you want to play Hara as much as you can with the idea that Pepe will be the man come the end of the season. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with patiently bringing Pepe along slowly, a game here, a game there, while keeping Hara happy, as long as we gradually see a move towards the younger Pepe Jesus, rotation down the stretch.
Well, all right, let's keep this going, but let's shift over to the clip I have from Coach Lucci from Media Day last week. So this is before the Portland match. And so I had a question to him, but and it came from out of our conversations with Big D Soccer, just to kind of about the formation against San Jose, kind of what he was hoping to get. So you hear me stumble around. I'm still learning the ropes here of asking people I admire questions. So let's listen to this and listen to Lucci's conversation, then come back and talk about this Portland game and kind of what what we learned from the formation switch. Kind of keep that conversation going. I know you weren't not the result you wanted last Saturday, and it sounds like we're going to continue to talk about formations and those kinds of choices. Just curious if you would, kind of what you were hoping to get out of your team with the starting formation against San Jose, and then kind of walk us through the late game switch that maybe had a little more success, at least leading to the Pepe goal. And then kind of, what should we expect? What should FC Dallas fans expect going forward formation-wise?
Yeah, I was explaining that, the question in Spanish was, do you run the risk of trying these different formations and maybe not having some consistency? And I disagree. I think the modern game, the modern coaching, the modern player, the formation is just a vehicle based on the personnel you have. And then it's about occupying those spaces that we want. We want to have players between lines. We want to have at least one player wide on each side. We want to have one player threatening the last line. We want to have at least minimum 3 in the build. Sometimes we say 3.5 because the player can be in a half space, not fully underneath the ball. So we want to have always a player in the pivot. And so it's occupation of the space, because I could play 4-3-3, drop my 6, and we're still going to build the same way in a 3-4-2-1. Or I can play a 4-3-3 and I can slide my 2 over and my 3 over, and it's still a build in a 3-4-2-1 or 3-5-2, whichever way the midfield is occupied. So I think, Zidane changed his system multiple times this season, and they're a 4-3-3 type club, but they recognize when to play 3 in the back. Barcelona's finding success now with 3 in the back. Maybe that third is more like a midfield profile, but they've been doing it with 3 center backs recently. Tuchel comes from PSG from a 4-3-3, and then goes 3-4-2-1, and based on the players he has, and finding a lot of possession, a lot of good pressure, and creating, maybe not scoring a lot of goals, but winning games by 1 goal margin. So I think there's a lot to be said about formations that, I think it's a great tool for our team to be able to play different formations. If we're just fixed on a formation, I think it's easy to scout against. It's easy to limit and neutralize, and then we become predictable. I think we have the roster to be unpredictable. And, is it easy to replace Brian Reynolds? No, but we're developing the players to come through and take care of that. Is it easy to replace Thiago Santos like this in a snap of a finger a few weeks ago? No, but I believe in the players we have to do the job. That's all I know from our club. And what I observed even before I was a first team coach, Oscar had to do that. We're a development club, and sometimes we lose these players, but we got guys ready to step up, and no matter the system. So we want to occupy spaces, like I mentioned, no matter the system. And I want us to be unpredictable. I don't want the opponent to always guess how we're playing. But we got to get the result too. So that's the lesson. And That's the expectation, and it wasn't good enough. Against San Jose, we could have been up 2-3-0. Penalty could have gone our way. That changes the flow of the game. We didn't get the call. At the end of the day, they put away their chances. They earned the PKs that were called, and we didn't. And the game, I think, is just. I don't believe in luck. I don't think the game didn't, we were unlucky or it wasn't just or wasn't fair. No, those aren't my words at all. I think the result was just. But we could have been up and we could have changed the outcome of that game. And the way we started with the formation, with those players, I thought they started fantastic. But then the momentum changed and it shifted. San Jose woke up when they almost conceded, and that happens. And then we didn't make the plays that we needed to defensively to deny them. And the shift of the formation at the end is to get certain guys on the field, and we wanted the extra midfielder. And hey, it's 3-0. We're going to take some risk, take more risk. But we should have been with 1 or 2 goals, even with the prior formation. But that's the game. And my job's to figure out that balance, but no matter what, to find the result. So that's the test. That's the process that I embrace. But we're approaching this week with an urgency because at home, we didn't get full points last time against Colorado, and we know Portland is a very good team, and they're hard to beat. And I'm sure they want a revenge from playoffs last year. They're going to have a personal motivation for that game, but we have our own. We want to get our first win in the season, and we want to do it for our fans, no matter the formation.
I like Coach Lucci. Yeah, it's fun to hear him talk and to hear him break down the game and be clear about sort of what he wants. And it's great, especially to see, to see some fruit of that work. Let's just talk about his response. What did you hear, Ben? In his response as he talked about the formation.
You could take that a lot of different ways. You could take it as him being defensive about it, or you could take it as I did, where then I have plenty of prior experience with Lucci, where he's just riffing and being honest about the formation not maybe necessarily mattering as much, but talking about getting the right balance and then winning your battles. There's a lot that goes into being a coach at this level. It's not just managing a personality like Frank O'Hara. It's getting everybody motivated and getting everybody moving in the right direction. And I like with the formation, and again, this is my conspiracy theory, I think he rolled it out there so the bosses can see it and say, hey, look, this would work a lot better if we had one of our fast young forwards that we don't pay $3 million a year to play. So I don't know whether there's any validity to that at all. I hear voices in my head all the time. I don't sleep well. But also, Frank O'Hara is not one of our 15 best players. So why is he starting? So, you have to just start kind of doing a process of elimination. And, maybe he's got naked pictures of Lucci, or maybe it's the simple answer, which is he gets paid a lot more money than Lucci does.
I like how Hara keeps dropping down the rankings.
Yeah.
He wasn't top 10, and now he's not top 15, and he's pretty hitting out the rankings pretty soon. I think you're hearing Lucci basically telling us in his way that just because he's shifted formations, don't think for a minute that he's given up on the 3-4-3. He's telling you matter of factly that, hey, I'm going to roll out whichever formation I want to roll out, as long as I feel that the guys can pull it off, and as long as I think they've looked good in practice with that formation, that's what I'm going to roll out. That's all he's saying. He's basically saying, hey, okay, it didn't work against San Jose. It didn't work in the first match as good as we wanted to. Some of it is rust. Some of it is, we're still gelling. So yeah, we reverted to the 4-3-3 because everyone's familiar with it. But I think he's just saying don't think that he's just going to ride out the 4-3-3 for the rest of the year. He's telling you expect, that 3-4-3 to come back. Expect maybe another formation to make an appearance, and I think he's being honest about that. I think he's saying that, hey, we've always said he likes to overthink matches and overthink his lineups. Maybe he likes to overthink formations too. So,
Yeah.
like I said, I think he's being honest in saying that, hey, I'm not giving up on that formation. I just, for this game, I thought it was time to go to the 4-3-3.
Well, no, and you know what? Here's the thing. I think it actually does highlight the strengths of Vargas and O'Brien better, running like that. And you know what? I have to say, the last few off-season signings, I think Vargas has been good. I think O'Brien is extremely dynamic and promising, and Jose Antonio Martinez has been great. Like nobody's saying anything bad about him over the last 3 games.
Yeah.
Probably the best defender on the team so far. So, if he thinks that's going to eventually put the team in the best posture to succeed, I tend to give him a lot of rope on that.
Yeah, I felt like his answer there was a little defensiveness. I mean, but which is natural because you have 1 point from a home game and an away game, so it's tough. So I felt like he was being a little defensive, was justifying the formation with some of his thinking, which is good. But also, I think subtly he was setting us up for a formation change, which we saw against Portland. So yeah, I think. Let's get to a comment here from Shay, our friend Shay Galvin, who says, so he says formation doesn't matter as much. It's about where players occupy space. I do agree, but then says different formations makes them more unpredictable. That sounds contradicting. And I do think I think Lucci's perspective is I've got this this collection of players. And I think with a development sort of focused club, this is going to be a problem. Is that you can't, it's not a factory. You're not going to produce another Brian Reynolds just like that. Eddie Munjoma, I think, right. Well, I think Eddie Munjoma is great, but you're not going to produce, nothing is guaranteed. But your next player up may be more of a number 10. It may be more of a winger. It may be a center back. It may be another defensive midfielder. So the coach is always going to have these challenges of sort of how to get players in. And so I think it makes sense for Lucci to say we want to be a team that's unpredictable, that sometimes may play 3 midfielders, 2 midfielders, may have I would love to. I'm very curious to see if we'll have a 2-striker setup in some match, when it makes sense to play Hara and Pepe together. And that makes sense against a competition or opponent. So I hear Lucci saying we want this team to be unpredictable, but we don't want it to be easy to game plan against. But yet the same basic principles apply of saying, like, we want to occupy space. We want to generate forward momentum and attack with these certain occupying space and moving people forward. I do what I found funny about his response was just dropping in Zidane references, PSG and Barcelona. Like, all right, Lucci. I'm not sure if Zidane's at that level yet, right? But cool that you're thinking on that level.
Hey, dress for the job you want.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But yeah. So I do agree, Shay. It sounds contradicting at times, and I think Lucci probably has a greater vision for what this team may be capable of at times. But yet, why not swing for the fences? I mean, he's definitely building a vision here of what this team could be capable of. I guess down the road. Are they there yet? I don't know. I mean, have we seen success with the 3-4-3 yet? I mean, if the 3-4-3 could have success on the road, I think none of us would discount a more defensive setup that would spring on the counter. But We've yet to see that. We've yet to see in MLS really a three in the back or five in the back has never been super successful in this league for whatever reason, right?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't
All
know.
right, well, I just know there's not been a huge track record, and I think it's because this league is very athletic. There's a lot of athletic, physical players, but anyway, let's continue this conversation going. Let's hear from Ricardo Pepi. This is a shorter clip. I asked him about, and so this is interesting in line with the question that Dave asked us earlier about him getting the start. I asked about like his opening goal and like, does this feel like he makes a case for him getting a start? Pepi is a man of few words, which as a young guy is probably his best strategy. Let's listen to Ricardo. Ricardo, how are you doing? One, congratulations getting your first goal of 2021 season. I know that felt good, at least, even if it wasn't a tough kind of effort, tough result for the team. Congratulations on that. I'm just curious, kind of maybe a simple question here. Just do you feel that first goal kind of makes a case for the coaches, for Coach Lucci, for you to get a start in the next couple of matches? And or what other things are you trying to do in practice over this week and next to sort of make the case that you can help this team kind of unleash the attack this early in the season?
Yeah, no, I think obviously I've always tried to do my best for the team. I mean, I'm always trying to go out there, score some goals, to do whatever I have to do for the team. I feel like scoring a goal doesn't really have to do with me getting to start. I feel like that's totally a coach's decision. So I mean, I'm just always there on my toes, always trying to be ready for when I do get to start. I'm ready and prepared for it.
That's it. That's what he said. I like Ricardo. To the point, but he's right. It's the coach's decision whether he starts or not. But I like this kid a lot, and I like him because of his intangibles, to borrow a basketball term. And I don't know when. I wish I had asked when Jesus will be ready. It seems like he's probably another couple weeks out. But when he comes back in, it'll be an interesting conversation. I still sort of want to imagine a Pepi and Ferreira combination to start a match coming up soon. What do y'all think about that?
I'm
Ben?
looking forward to it. Ben will be looking forward to it as long as it means Hara is not on the starting field, starting 11.
Well, look, I agree. Like, we just need to work Pepe in with the occasional starting with Houston this week, and then probably mix in another one in Minnesota, and then probably at home against RSL, and then possibly away at Colorado. That's where the games in the future I would like to see Ricardo Pepi make a spot start.
What Ben's saying is that he hopes to only see Hara start the U.S. Open Cup matches.
Yeah. Hey, if he breaks the record there, why not?
As I give Hara, I kind of think that it's okay having an expensive, big time sub like that. It might not be conventional. It might not be the way that MLS clubs typically win. But if you need a goal or a clutch pass at the end of the game, and he's got all those miles on his tires, then maybe that's the best way to use him.
Yeah, I think we're going to see over the course of this season what Hara has to provide, and hopefully it's some clutch goals and big moments. Hopefully he gets going and he is just clutch. That's what this team has needed for a long time, since Blas Perez, at least. Just some guy who's going to come up in big games. Well, before we close it out, it's already been about 45 minutes here. I'm going to throw up the video for those who are going to be listening on audio of the Hollingshead moment from this match. And Ryan Hollingshead is he is well known to be a strong man of faith, right? following a tradition that says love your neighbor as yourself. But he had enough on Saturday. He had enough of loving his neighbor, or at least for a moment, or his version of loving your neighbor was to do this. We're going to switch over and watch infamous moment here. As he fakes the ball in the direction of Gio Savarese and earns one of the more memorable yellow cards in FC Dallas history for. And evidently, the story behind this is that Savarese was kicked the ball in his direction, was complaining about time wasting for Hollingshead, and Hollingshead just wasn't having any of it. He just wasn't having any of it. And I guess Portland fans were pretty moany and complaining about this event this week on Twitter.
Portland fans moaning, complaining. Come on.
Yeah, Portland.
Do you know any Portland fans that do anything else other than moan and complain?
Yeah, it's not as bad as Seattle fans.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell the fan bases apart. You can quote me on that one.
Boom. 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 That's right. Portland where the 90s never ended, right? We just watched the first episode of Portlandia yesterday or something, and it was like, yeah, all right.
I love Kyle MacLachlan as the mayor of Portland. He's funny.
Good stuff.
I've actually met at least two very weird people and was not shocked when they both said they were from Portland. I was like, well, that makes a lot of sense. And I left it at that.
Have worked with a couple of people, known a couple of people who lived in Oregon and done the mushroom hunting thing and stuff, and it's like, all right, that explains a lot about who you are. But I tell you, I love that moment from Hollingshead. It was unpredictable, and it's the kind of thing, truth be told, that will build the fan base for FC Dallas, that will make this team personable. I love Ryan Hollingshead. I hope we can get him on the show someday. Would love to chat with him, and it seems like a great dude and a competitor. And he said that moment fired up the team and helped close out the match. And I think we heard from Steve Davis and others that that's what the team needs in moments. They need someone to come up and be a leader and fire up the team and get something going. Even if you earn a yellow card for it, it's going to get this team through some moments where you lose energy a little bit and stay focused. Brian, thank you for that.
I just want to say something on Hollingshead, which I've told you guys, and that is that Hollingshead should stay at left back. He is a difference maker at left back.
That's right.
He elevates the team on defense and attack, and he should never, ever, ever, ever be played anywhere else other than left back.
He's the best American left back in MLS. Has
Absolutely.
been for 3 years running.
Absolutely. He gives this team massive advantage at that position over other teams, and I know he can play. God bless him, he can play all other positions. But at left back, I think he is a stud, and he should definitely, absolutely never be played anywhere else. I don't care. Put somebody else over at right back.
Yeah, let's give Munjoma more minutes there. Let's see what happens, right? Hey,
Yep.
We need to leave it there. We didn't talk to them about North Texas. Had a tough loss.
That's okay, though. I want to say on North Texas, my prediction going into that weekend was a 2-0 loss for North Texas, simply because that team's still gelling, and Greenville is a veteran club that they're impossible to beat at home. So I expect them to lose. I didn't expect them to lose that badly, but it's understandable. It's a young team. They still got, honestly, I will tell you right now, they're not even 100%. You can expect that FC Dallas to at least loan him at least 2 more players. And you still got the North Carolina kids coming. You still got David Rodriguez, who may be coming back in June. I mean, I don't think that team is 100% yet. I think they've got at least 3 starters that will still be joining the team. Definitely one at center back for sure. And, I mean, yeah, they're not 100%. They're still gelling. And this is a team that's going to get better as the season progresses.
Good. Thank you for that update, Jose. We'll make some more time next week to talk about North Texas and where they are, but hopefully we'll also be talking about a big win over the Houston Dynamo, a crucial match this coming Saturday. And, 7 points, if they can get a win this weekend, 7 points from 4 matches, you take that. You're pretty fine with that to start the season, knowing all the unpredictable reality of things that can happen. So let's leave it there. Ben, Jose, I love you guys. Be well, stay safe. Be good. All right. See you all next week.
Love
Night.
you, Sue Rev. Love all of you viewers who came in and listened to me rant about Franco Hara tonight.
All right.